Hi, I'm Martha Higdon with Quilting by Martha. Today I'm going to show you how to use the mark feature on Pro Stitcher. This is a cute little quilt. It was 2 charm square packs. This is some of the colors. It was a Free Spirit charm square pack. My friend Ruth Rose, I go to her house on Wednesdays. We have Bee at her house. She was decluttering and she gifted me these 2 charm squares and the backing fabric. So I'm really excited to put this together till I can show her that I used her fabrics. So we sewed the charm squares together, then I placed it on my long arm, and I am doing chevrons. So I'm using the piecing of the squares to use my positioning. My other video, I showed you how I was couching with the ruler. This time I'm going to go in between my 2 couching chevrons. I'm going to use the mark feature. Yes, I could use my rulers, but I want to use Pro Stitcher. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the middle. You can measure or you can eyeball. So there's the center of that block. I still have my couching foot on. It's fine because I'm alternating between quilting and couching, quilting and couching. So what I want to do here is I'm in my mark feature. So I go to the tabs, Pro Stitcher, the ribbon under record. All the way to the far right is going to be the mark. So remember, I always say Pro Stitcher is easy as 1, 2, and 3. First one has to be green on row number 1, Pro Stitcher. Row number 2, record, and number 3 is mark. Do not hit the mark until you have your machine where you want it to mark. So I have it right where I want it to mark, and I hit mark. Then it dinged. It let me know that it registered my mark until I touched it. Let's go back to record. Let's clear it and try that again. We're going to go to mark. As you can see over here, I have a start and stop. The red and green are all together. Now I'm going to move my machine halfway down my next line of blocks. I'm going to line it up. I can measure in the middle, mark it. My laser light lets me know that I'm on the piece line, and I hit mark again. The difference between mark and creating an area, when you create an area, it's always going to be a closed shape. When I'm using mark, it will be an open shape unless I close it. So you notice my line is staying open. So then now I'm going to move up to my next area, and I want to line up my crosshairs to my first green. I could turn my grid on. Let's do that here. I could turn the grid on if I wanted to see if I'm in the same line, but I'm not going to. I'm going to eyeball it, that it's lined up, and I'm going to hit mark again. Notice it's making my chevrons for me. I go down to the next row. Again, I'm going to line it up to the point at the bottom, but I'm also going to use my laser light to make sure I'm in the piecing, right in the middle of the piecing. Hit mark again. It will only, you know when it's registered when it makes the ding. I go up to my next line using the crosshairs for the point, and then using my laser light to see where my piecing is and mark. And go down all the way across. Mark, back up, mark. Come back down, line it up, laser light, mark. I'm at the end of my quilt. Again, I'm lining up my crosshairs, and I hit mark. I hit the house refresh button so you can see it. You can see that I've made a chevron. Instead of using my rulers or doing free motion, the computer will now quilt that line for me. I come over. Depending on your settings, I'm ready for quilt. So row number 1, Pro Stitcher. Row number 2 in the ribbons is quilt. It will turn green. It has to be green. Over here is stitch. I have my tie off starting in, and I also have my pull up auto on. So I hit run. It goes needle up, needle down. It moves, and it lets me pull up the thread. Then I hit resume. It goes back. It locks the stitches in. Now I have my Pro Stitcher set up for a pause delay so that I can trim my threads. Put my scissors back on the magnetic sleeve so I know where my scissors are all the time. I don't want to put my scissors anywhere near here because I don't know where she's going to be stitching. So then I hit resume and I'll speed her up a little bit more for you. And she is quilting my chevron for me. She does her locking stitches and then she's done. And that's how easy the mark feature is on Pro Stitcher. I don't think we use it enough because there's a lot of quilts we may not know when to use it. But when I was doing this quilt, I realized I could use the mark feature. Check out my other YouTube videos. I have the YouTube on the couching for this chevron, my Facebook page, Quilting by Martha, Instagram, Quilting by Martha. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Happy quilting!